I note that the dock is covered with frost, so it might be a little slick.
All right. Good. Thanks for warning me.
Why is the dock covered with frost? It was 80 last weekend, wasn't it?
I know the weather's been crazy. So how's that going to affect the fishing?
Well, this is a pretty cold lake. It's spring fed, very deep. Most of the shallower water is here and just off in front of this point. And the shallow water has been up in the mid to upper 50s, but over the deep water, it's still been in the 40s. So the fish aren't really ready to start thinking about spawning here yet, but they got to be moving towards those areas. And hopefully the full moon and the cold weather didn't completely shut them off. There's always a possibility that it did.
Completely?
Completely.
But you're the man. You know where they are.
Shut off is shut off. I don't care who you are.
I don't believe it. You're going to catch them.
All right, so.
I might not, but we're here with the man. Let's go to Lunkerville.
It seems in every town in America that there's a secret fishing spot where the water runs clear and the bass are always biting. And at that spot, there's an unsung hero who knows every stump, laydown, and lily pad. Seems all he's got to do is wet a line. And sure enough, he's reeling in a big bass. So if you're looking for real people with real fish stories, then hop a ride. We're going to Lunkerville.
Okay, we're expecting some wind today, Rich. Is that the deal?
Actually, it's supposed to be very windy, Mike. We're expecting sustained 25-mile-an-hour winds today. Hopefully it'll hold off till 10 or 11 o'clock, gives a chance to get a pattern going before we have to start thinking about how to change it to stay with the fish.
And we got the famous Rich Z. What do you call this? Electric
Tennessee,
tape.
Tennessee handle.
Tennessee handle. Look at that. So now, how should I fish this thing, Rich?
Well, you're going to cast it out, let it sink to bottom, and kind of jiggle it back.
Jiggle it back.
Yeah.
Now, what is that? What do I have here?
That's just a little twister tail grub, a 3-inch brown grub. I think it's got blue flake in it. I'm not real fussy about the color. I like anything brown, green, or smoked. They all blend in with the environment.
So where are we? And tell me a little bit about this place we're fishing.
All right, well, Lakeville Lake, or the Indian name Lake Wananskapomik, is a natural lake. It's roughly 300 acres, 350 acres. It's very deep. It's got a lot of shallow bars, humps, points, and so forth, shallow and mid-depth. There's a shallow bar that comes out right here, and I'm going to work my way out the bar. There is one large boulder out towards the end of this bar, and I never feel like I've fished the bar unless I've dropped a jig on the boulder. I should be starting to pick up some shallower water any second now. There's a fish.
There's a fish. Oh yeah.
He's gonna jump right in the glare.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to step back here.
Beauty.
That's close to 3 pounds, 2.5 to 3
Nice
pounds.
bass.
This is very typical of the bass we catch at Lakeville. Fat belly, really nice coloration, little worn down fin. They spawn in hard bottom, obviously. But it's just a quality chunky bass. Puts a nice fight up.
Oh yeah. Now he hit what? What were you fishing there?
Just a smoke grub, 2.5 inch
grub.
boot tail smoke grub.
And where did he nail it? Were you swimming it?
No. I had just popped it a couple of times and let it sink back towards bottom. It got heavy.
Oh yeah. Now, how do I catch one?
do the same thing with the grub you're using.
But I just don't want it to be like last time where I caught that one pumpkin seed upside down, like I hooked it in the belly.
I've heard from reliable sources you've improved a lot over the last year or two.
Ah, tell more.
I'm pretty sure that fish came off that big boulder that I said I wanted to make sure I dropped a lure on. It's really the only big rock out on this bar, but as you can see, that rock island up there, that's all surrounded with rocks. And of late, the fish have been very tied to rocks. Last weekend, I think every fish I caught came off a rock.
It's cold out here. It's early spring. Ooh, I got a little hit there. What are the fish doing now? What's our strategy? Where are they?
Well, the fish should be in transition between their very early spring haunts and the spawning areas. Now, a lot of fish will spawn on the shallow flat behind these rocks, and we want to see if they're hitting these rocks. They should bunch up here and chow down on crayfish for a while before they actually start to think about spawning. And hopefully we'll find some big ones in here. If not, then we'll have to hitting little weed clumps on the shallow flats, check to drop off into deeper water for fish that haven't moved up yet. This is the best place to find them. It may not be the place that's most likely to find them, but if we find them here, we'll have a real good catch. Everywhere else, we're gonna have to work a little harder for them. Well, we're only an hour or so into the day, but already I'm disappointed at what we found. Fishing where I would like the fish to be, or where they should be. One fish, it was a nice fish, but it was still just one serious bite. Had a couple little tickles that didn't turn into anything.
Well, at least you got a bite. I want a tickle. Why aren't they tickling me?
Well, we haven't encountered all that much activity yet. It's just a matter of my bait getting there a little before yours, I guess, because I'm in the front. But we need to find some more active fish. When we're both getting bit, we'll be happy. Right now, I'm not getting bit enough to make me happy. You're not getting bit at all. We need to find some better fish or some more active fish.
You're watching Lunkerville, and we're going to take a short break.
I assume this is a map of this lake we're on now.
It certainly is.
Where'd you get this?
From the concession stand there at the launch.
Wow, it says 100 feet here in the middle.
It sure does.
Wow.
And if you notice, the east side of the lake has a lot of humps and ridges and so forth, and that's where we're fishing now. Of course, that's the side that's going to get beat by the wind all day.
There's a lot going on here.
We're now going to head for my favorite spot in the lake. I'm going to put this thing on high and get us there, and I think I will take out my magic box, my remote control for the Minn Kota iPilot that I use to position the boat. It's a remote control that's GPS controlled, so I can tell it when I get to the right spot, hold the boat here, and I don't have to worry about the electric motor. It will do what it needs to hold me within about 20 feet. Instead of my nice little wrist watch, I have this giant thing hanging around my neck. It makes me feel like Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav.
And when we get there, I'll lock us on the spot and hopefully we'll catch some fish.
Yeah, boy.
You see the red building on shore with the life ring on the deck. When I line that life ring up with the tree that's right behind it right now, I know that I'm on a line that I end up directly in front of the bar. So right here is the end of the bar. Even though we're in, we're in 42 feet of water, I'm going to make a cast and it should hit 15 feet or less. And I'm waiting for my jig to sink, and it's gonna make a lot, nope, it's on the bottom. So now I'm just gonna try and find that drop off and let the bait slide down in front of the drop off. And hopefully somebody's hanging off the drop and will notice it going by and think it's worth taking a swat at.
And how can you feel that? How do you know when it hits that drop off? Do you watch the line? Do you feel something?
Well, when you make the cast, you kind of count it down. It should take it less than 15 seconds to hit bottom, 7, 8, 10 seconds, something like that. And then you move it, try and move it in little 6-inch to 1-foot increments, and then drop it. And when you drop it, it's gonna hit bottom again within a second or two. And you keep doing that, and at some point, you're gonna pass the edge of the drop, and it's gonna not hit bottom. You know, when the line goes slack, the jig isn't sinking anymore, it's on bottom. If I don't get bit right away, I'm pretty much done with that cast. I've passed the bass zone, as it were.
What am I fishing here? Is this a hula grub?
It's actually an old Lunker City product that they no longer market, but it's still one of my favorites. It's a nice, small, compact one, and I always tend to buy things in quantity if I like them, and that way when they're no longer made, I can continue to catch fish on them.
I gotta say, Rich, this is one of those times where it's cold. We've been out here a couple hours. If I was by myself, I would be out of here. I wouldn't even be here.
But here's the way I look at that situation. Rather than losing confidence, I've trained myself to gain confidence from that. I say, if all of the areas that I'm fishing don't have active fish, when I find them, I'm gonna find a bunch of them in one area because they're all together somewhere hiding. And I'm gonna be able to, once I unlock it, I'm gonna catch a lot of fish. At least I make myself believe that.
Why can't it ever be easy? But you know, it's a good story. We're out here having a hard time catching fish. I guarantee you, by the end of the show, we're gonna have a bunch of fish.
There's a fish.
There's a fish. Oh yeah.
It's the right color.
Nice one.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna just swing that.
You're gonna, oh.
And you can see he ate that jig pretty deep. And you can see he's got a damaged lip from having been caught and kind of mishandled the last time he was unhooked. It's another nice quality 2.5 pound fish. Now get your lure in the water.
Okay, so you rigging this in any certain way?
You rig it with the paddle tail pointed down so that it gives the bait's ass end a little kick up as you pull it. And you don't want the bait to be crooked on there. You want it to be reasonably straight so it doesn't twist your line a lot by spinning. And
There's a fish.
another pickerel.
They're attracted to your lure, not mine.
You're fishing the same lure I am.
I know, so it's got to be my technique. Woo!
If you have an error in your technique, it's probably moving the bait too much.
Okay.
It's too long a movement. I very rarely move the bait more than 5 or 6 inches at a time without some kind of hesitation, no matter how brief. That's what you like to see pickerel do.
Yeah.
Kind of get unhooked when you grab the jig head, so you don't have to handle them.
Oh, there's a fish. No, it's a pick. What do we got here?
A trout.
A trout. All right. True multi-species. Woo! Hold on, man. Okay. Ooh, he's slimy. What do you? Okay, there we go. Oh yeah. 10-inch rainbow right there.
Without all the big rocks, boulders, drop-offs, extensions, and so forth, we've been catching some more fish. So we'll continue to work this. I was going to only work as far as this beach, but we'll continue up another 100 yards or so.
Cool.
See if it continues.
There's a fish. Yeah, not a little guy. At least I hooked him. Hey, that's another species for me. Let's see. I'm gonna hold him up proud. Woo.
No.
Yeah, perch. I love perch. They're beautiful. Look at them.
That's a perch. No, it's a little pickerel. Easy there, little guy.
There's a fish. One of those. Let's take a look at him. That works for me. Ooh, we have a right off that light patchy area.
Yep. And it's the right color.
Oh yeah, nice bass. Under the boat. Oh yeah.
And
Good
well,
looking
again,
bass here.
again, I will. I know
Now,
I
what
have
was that he was
pliers.
sitting on? What was that light area?
Just the light spot. It's not a bed. I mean, it's a great big, it's 30-foot long light spot. Just a spot where the bottom is a little different. Yeah, those are nice, fat, chunky bass.
Nice. Think it might be another species?
Which species might this be?
I don't know. Or is it a really pale bass? It's pale bass. There we go. Uh-oh.
It is a bass.
Yeah. Finally. Been looking for you. Where you been? Jeez. Took you long enough. There you go. Ooh, he's lean. He's got a little chunk out of him on the side. What's that from, Rich? You think a turtle?
I have no
Can you see
idea.
that?
That is definitely some kind of damage. Could be a pickerel attacked him when he was a yearling.
Man, I'm glad to see you. Whew.
I have the trolling motor on high and it's not making any headway.
I'm getting a little queasy out here. A fishing trip interrupted by high winds on an electric-only lake. But not before we caught a bunch of fish.
I think you might be stretching it with a bunch. We caught some fish. But when you're out here, you know, the lake has a horsepower limit and they let anybody on it, but we're electric only if you've got more than a 10. So we actually found ourselves at the downwind side of the lake earlier and had to worry about coming back because we had to do it while we still had batteries left. It was a decent day considering the conditions. We never really found what we're looking for, but we found enough to get our rods bent a few times and got to swing on something. That's what matters. Caught a variety of fish, not just bass. Caught a nice bass first spot, but after that it was a fish here, a fish there, pickerel. You caught a trout. We had rock bass, yellow perch. We kept busy anyways, even though we only got to fish a half a day.
Well, I love that multi-species fishing. You know,
I'm a bass fisherman, so the multi-species is fine if you can't catch any bass. And today was very close to not being able to catch bass,
Well,
so it was fine.
I had a great time, Rich. I appreciate you
Thank you.
taking me out again and seeing you again. And you invited me out, and I took you up on it.
Well, I
on the
enjoyed
last
fishing
show.
with you again. It seems like cold fronts tend to follow you, though. Every time you join me to fish, it's like this.
It's so true. And for y'all at home that want to follow Rich and see what he's up to, go to richz.com, check out his blog, and go to lunkerville.com and check out his previous episodes. And don't forget to tune in next week to Lunkerville.